It was night time on the island of Sodor, and it was the end of another busy day. All the engines had been working hard. They were pleased and proud. They were still very busy, and they always get nice shifts done. Duck was all alone in the shed when the fat controller arrived.
You are to collect logs from the sawmill and take them to the timber. They need to make some new furniture first thing in the morning, he said. You must work with Diesel. He's collecting sawdust and he's taking them to the timber as well. So I don't want any mishaps tonight, he added.
Duck didn't want to work with Diesel, but he wanted to be really useful. When Duck arrived at the depot, he couldn't see Diesel anywhere. Diesel was up to his old tricks. He rolled up behind Duck and went, "Burrow!" "Oh!" cried Duck.
"Trust a silly old steamy to be scary on night time,"
Diesel sneered.
"I'm not a scaredy engine," huffed Duck crossly.
"We'll see, Duck," oiled Diesel. Duck and Diesel set off for the sawmill. As they puffed through the forest, Diesel called, "It's the haunted forest!" And he called out, "Ooh, Duck!" in a spooky voice.
"Stop it!" said Duck crossly.
But the forest made it seem spookier. The wind was blowing and the trees felt they were moving. Diesel's tease made it seem spooky indeed. Then they came to the abandoned mine. The buildings were old, but they could hear a banging noise. "What was that?" gasped Duck.
"Sounds like Bigfoot is looking for a steamy to scare."
"Then there's no such thing as Bigfoot," snapped Duck, "and I'm not scared."
But secretly, he was worried. Then they had to stop at a signal. It was next to an old tree, but Duck can hear a strange cry. Suddenly, Duck felt something touch his bunker.
"Look out!" called Diesel. "Bigfoot is after your funnel."
"Bust my buffers!" cried Duck, his funnel's rattling.
Scaredy engine,"
laughed Diesel. Duck was very cross at Diesel. He wanted to pay him back for all this teasing. Soon Duck and Diesel arrived at the sawmill. Soon as the logs were being loaded onto the flatbed. Duck saw the truck of sawdust was waiting for Diesel to collect. Then Duck had an idea. "Maybe I'll scare him back up by my own Bigfoot," he said, "and we'll see who's a scaredy engine," he chuckled. So Duck biffed the truck so hard and sawdust blew everywhere. When the sawdust dust was clear, Duck was covered in pure dust. "Wow!" he said spookily.
"It's Bigfoot!" cried Diesel. "He's come to get me!"
"Wait!" cried Duck. "It's only me!" But Diesel had already gone. After Diesel's gone, the mill sounds very quiet, and Duck remembers his important job. The logs need to be done by tomorrow, and so does the sawdust. I must get there right away. So Duck shunted all the trucks into one long line, and he set off for the timber all alone. Duck was puffing towards the old tree. He saw that it was only a tree. "It's just an old tree," laughed Duck, and the strange cry was an owl. Duck felt very relieved. Then Duck came to the old abandoned mine again, but he could still hear the banging noise. He looked to his left and then to his right, and saw what was making the noise. "It's just a door," laughed Duck. "The wind was making it crash." Then Duck came to the forest again. The wind was breezy and the trees were moving. Duck put a big brave puff and realized that the forest was actually Henry's forest. "It's not scary at all," puffed Duck. Duck felt very relieved. At last, Duck arrived at the timber yard. "It's Bigfoot, sir!" cried Diesel. "He was coming to get me."
"Nonsense," said the fat controller. "There's no such thing as Bigfoot."
"I brought you the sawdust and the timber," said Duck. The fat controller felt very proud.
"Well done, Duck,"
he said cheerfully.
"You have done a splendid job. You deserve a special watchdown."
"Thank you, sir," said Duck. He couldn't wait to tell his friends about Diesel's story about Bigfoot.